What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we got a couple of new level 6 Digimon cards about which I am really rather excited. We've got a super rare yellow card and a super rare green card. Yeah, that's right. Two super rare cards to talk about, and I, for one, am absolutely delighted. Translations here come from the lovely folks at Ensan Gaming, as well as the lovely folks over at DigimonCard.dev, which, incidentally, is also where we get our translated proxies. Good dudes over there. So let's start off with Rasenmon here. We got a level 6 yellow, 11 cost to play normally, 11,000 power, 5 cost to Digivolve. Now that's high. We would expect 11 free 11. We've got 11 5 11. What's going on? Well, the Digivolution cost of this Digimon is equal to the number of security cards you have minus 1. So actually, at the start of the game, you got 6 security cards, and it becomes a 5 cost to Digivolve. But as the game goes along, it gets cheaper and cheaper. If you have 0 or 1 security card remaining, it's actually free. No, you don't gain a memory when you Digivolve with 0 security cards, because it doesn't go into minuses, it just goes down to 0 and stays there. But this is good. It means instead of being expensive to Digivolve, and it is, it's actually cheap. What you can do here, it's a combo I'm kind of a fan of, use Pulsemon. Because remember that Pulsemon lets you immediately trash down till you got free security cards, and you get an advantage for doing so. And then it becomes a 2 cost to Digivolve, which is clearly an awful lot cheaper and a very good thing. So there is a really fun combo that can be made with Pulsemon here if that's what you're into, and I do like Pulsemon, so for me personally, that is something that jumps straight off the bat. I'm not saying you have to go and do this, but I am saying that Pulsemon is a good option and it's a decent card that a bunch of people are going to be playing anyway. And in a deck that is playing Pulsemon, you can make this a 2 cost to Digivolve very, very quickly. Bearing in mind, you will also gain 2 memory when you play it if you got 5 security cards, so seems like a good thing to me. We've then got 1 skill, once during your turn, Digiburst up to 4. So trash up to 4 Digivolution cards. And one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 3,000 power for each card that is trashed using this effect. So basically, you can trash 1 Digivolution source and lower one of your opponent's Digimon's power by 3,000, or you can trash 2 and lower it by 6, 3 and lower it by 9, or 4 and lower it by 12. That's huge. Bearing in mind that 12,000 power is actually slightly above the average for a level 6, it means if you go full Digiburst 4, which is very much an option, you will get to delete a level 6 on your opponent's board, unless it's something super beefy like a Nidogmon or something along those lines, in which case, sorry, I suppose. But make no mistake about it, this is a very, very, very powerful skill. Now, it is limited to once during your turn, which most Digiburst skills aren't, and the reason here is extremely simple. It's limited because otherwise you'll be able to do this 4 times and get rid of 4 little Digimon, and essentially the card designers just thought that was a bit too good. In terms of Digiburst 4, that's level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. So if you've gone all the way up from a Digi-Egg to this level 6, you will then be able to get the full Digiburst 4. Otherwise, it will be a bit lower. I do like that it is Digiburst up to 4. So if you've gone kind of level 4, level 5, level 6, you can still Digiburst 2 to lower by 6,000. That's good. And essentially, this is a yellow Digimon doing what yellow Digimon do. And I like this. I like that you're lowering power. Is it going to be as good as something like Lord Nightmon, which in turn is going to be played with Nightmon? Probably not, honestly. Lord Nightmon is still the gold standard, and being played with stuff like Nightmon lowering power is huge. You know, Lord Nightmon's got that really ridiculous skill that when you attack, you can play, well, a bunch of cards, but including Nightmon without paying, and Nightmon, when you play it, you lower your opponent's power by 4,000. And something like this is going to probably be a better option. It's still very cool, though, and if we get late in the game, this can be a 1 cost to Digivolve or less, and then you can immediately Digiburst to get rid of level 6, And that's how I really get excited about this card. I really like the idea of playing it as a backup level 6, playing it as, say, a 1 or 2 of, knowing that you don't need to play it as a full playset and draw into it early, because it's a late game thing. But late in the game, I Digivolve into it for nothing, Digiburst 4 to get rid of a level 6 and go ahead and win. Yeah. In that regard, I can get a little bit excited. I'm going to give it between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies. That would be barbaric. I don't think it is a phenomenal, out-and-out, amazing, brilliant, broken card. I don't think I like it as much as some other yellow level 6s, but I do think as a tech in the late game, this is something that I can get pretty gosh darned excited about. So how about Ebonwumon? I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. If I am, I'm sorry. Now here, this is beefy. I told you that some level 6s get up to 13,000 power, well this is one of them, as well as being a 13 cost to play and a 5 cost to Digivolve. We expect 11 free 11, we've got 13 5 13, this is pretty huge. So is it going to be worth it? Well, when you Digivolve, you suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, and then gain 1 memory for each of your opponent's suspended Digimon. So what we've got here is something extremely similar to what we saw just a moment ago. You've got a higher than average evolution cost, but you've got a way built into the card to lower that evolution cost, so that is absolutely fine. And I adore this, incidentally. At the minimum, now if your opponent's got no Digimon out, this will be a true 5 cost to Digivolve. But as long as your opponent's got at least 1 Digimon on the field, you'll never pay more than 4 memory because you just suspend it, and then it's 4. But there are going to be many games here where your opponent's got a bunch of suspended Digimon. Bearing in mind, right, you're green. This is one of the things that green does. You know, Flower Cannon, right back at the beginning of the game, was a card that started seeing a huge amount of play, and that's just a 2 cost that suspends. And since then, we've seen so many green things that can suspend your opponent's Digimon. And if you're playing that kind of green deck, this is another one that could legitimately end up being free to Digivolve, or at least, you know, a 1 or 2 cost while being 13,000 power, which is clearly amazing. And it actually gets even better than that, because on your opponent's turn, all of your opponent's Digimon gain. This Digimon cannot unsuspend unless you trash 1 card from your hand. Yeah, that's kind of amazing. Now, as a quick ruling theory here, I don't think this would stack. And I'm sure this is going to be in the FAQ when this set drops. My inkling would be, and again, I'm not 100% sure about this, but my inkling would be essentially all your Ebonwumon give the same negative skill. You got to trash a card. I don't think you would have to trash 1 card per Ebonwumon. I think it would just be, as long as one of them is out, you have to trash a card. If this does stack, and I can get 4 of these out and you have to trash 4 cards to unsuspended Digimon, this becomes one of my very favourite cards we've ever seen. It is an absolute ridiculous powerhouse, and I am building a deck around it as fast as I possibly can. I still think it's a good card, we'll carry on in a second, but if this stacks, and you have to trash multiple cards to unsuspend if I've got multiple of these out, this becomes an absolutely full-on, ridiculous, broken card. But my reading of it is, and again, I am not 100% sure, and I could absolutely be wrong here, but my reading is, if one of these is out, you get given the skill. If a second one of these is out, you get given the skill, but it's the same skill, so it's fine. I could be wrong, and honestly, I kind of want to be wrong, because that would make this card absolutely amazing. Regardless, this is still great, even if it doesn't stack. Your opponent's got 4 suspended Digimon. Are they going to be able to trash 4 cards from their hand in order to unsuspend them all? And the answer might be yes. Can they do that next turn? And the turn after? And the answer is no. There are some card games like Pokemon where you can have a really good amount of draw power. This is not that game. Digimon doesn't have that level of draw. We got a bit of draw here and there, not enough to keep reloading against this. So essentially, the first couple of times, you're going to lose a couple of cards you want, and that's good for you, bad for your opponent, obviously. But then your opponent is going to get to the stage where they are going to run out. where it's going to keep getting worse and keep getting worse and keep getting worse to the point where they just can't last. And at that stage, you're going to win the game. Now, Reboot, incidentally, will get around this. Any Digimon that's got Reboot, like Wargreymon, will unsuspend during your unsuspend phase, so they won't have to trash a card because it's not during their opponent's turn, but that is going to very much be the exception. Reboot is a pretty hard counter to this, but make no mistake, if your opponent doesn't have a counter, and this is a 13,000 power Digimon, right, so it's going to stay around for a while, it's not going to be an easy one to get off the board, and I am absolutely in love with this card, ladies and gentlemen. I think this is a fantastic, brilliant, awesome, really super impactful card, and I think this is going to make a big difference on the game moving forward. I do think this one's pretty huge. And I think there are absolutely going to be games where you can essentially get this rolling. And the problem is, for your opponent, as soon as you get one of these rolling, your opponent is going to struggle to unspend all their Digimon, which means Digivolving into the second and third one of these is going to become very cheap. Maybe I'm getting overly excited. I don't care. I'm giving it 5 wussies. This might be my favorite card I've seen since Nidogmon. This might be the card that excites me the most since I first saw Nidogmon. I think this one is phenomenal, and I love it. But I want to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.